Live from the district. 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 Live from the district.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Live from the District, Season 2. I'm Easy Street. Want to shout out to our good friends from Smoke and Mirrors, AC Hotel, Washington, D.C. And look who we got in the building again. Bashea Williams.
What's up, man?
This time he's got the wife, Tara in the building. And, of course, my special guest, Sherelle Rowe. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you, Pop.
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you, man.
Got on that Townsend, man. What's going on with that?
Yeah, my son attends Towson right now, so he's in the second year.
Okay.
He's loving it. It's right around the corner, not too far from home. So
Okay.
we just spent the weekend together, so it's good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, he's loving it. He's doing well. He got homework. He got a quiz today. Make sure he's doing well.
I know that's right. Cool. So now, we have been on several times. You've been on the radio with me at WHUR. You were on the first season of Live from the District, of
Yes.
course. Let everybody know what your official title is, because there's so many letters in there that I don't know how to pronounce all these letters and what they mean.
So I'm Paul Bashea Williams. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I own and operate Hearts and Mind Counseling. I'm a business owner. We have about 8 clinicians. We service mainly our people, right? So we want to show up for Black and Brown, and we service the entire DMV.
Right. And?
Tara Gates Williams, the blessed wife of Paul Bashea Williams. I'm brand expert. I speak on global branding around the world, and co-founder of Win Love Alliance with Bashea, and just a mother, daughter, sister, good girlfriend, all of those blessed things.
Awesome. Yeah. So now, you have a lot going on, man. I mean, you're all on the TV, and I see you out and about, man, and spreading the good gospel of relationship stuff, and also, the mental health stuff. So, first of all, how did you get into the space of mental health?
Because I needed it when I was younger. So I grew up in a lot of different low-income communities. My mother was a property manager, and one of the things that she instituted was to have a social worker come into our neighborhood. And I used to sit in the back because I had an attitude and not really wanting to participate, but the social worker used to always pull me to the front to help facilitate the group, right? So he tried to get me out of my shell. I had my hood on in the back. And I started to really connect with my peers, but I also was looked at as a leader amongst my peers. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that a lot of our community didn't have Black men, Black fathers in the community. And then we struggled with identifying our emotions and how to manage our emotions. So we're explosive, right? And then we're only taught to deal with being happy or anger, right? Those are the only 2 things that we can embrace. But that wasn't enough. And so I knew I needed something, and I needed to create what I was missing. And once I got into the field, I said, this is what it is. But also what really kind of turned it, I was a hooper. I played basketball. Mm-hmm. But I had my first panic attack when I went down to school in Tennessee. I was by myself. I was headed to go meet the coach, and then I had a panic attack. And
Really?
I didn't know what that was.
Okay, so you know what? I've had some attacks. I don't know what the hell it was. I can't label it. But what is it like to have an act? What does it feel like? Describe what a panic attack feels like.
It feels like you're out of breath. It feels like you're having a heart attack. It feels like everything around you is moving. Everything around you is against you, right? You can have tears. You can get hot. So many different things. People are impacted different ways when it comes to a panic attack. But you literally feel like you can't breathe. Your chest is tight. Yeah. And your arms may even go numb. Mm-hmm. There's a variety of different things that happen when you're having a panic attack. But a lot of people don't realize that panic attacks don't last long. We think they last all day, but they are short, and they give you an opportunity to explore what's happening. But at that particular time, I didn't have the language or understand it. All I knew was basketball is causing me to panic right now. So I don't want to play basketball. So I literally called my mom and was like, I'm about to come back home. I got on a Greyhound 12-hour bus ride, just struggling all the way back. I said, I don't want to play basketball, until I really understood what it was. It was more about performance and the expectations that I had on myself.
Wow, okay. So I have a panic attack story for you. Okay. Because I did have one.
Okay.
So I fly out to Pasadena with the radio station. They say to me, everyone's going to be out there at the NAACP Image Awards. We need you to get a tuxedo and, get your hair right. Going out there, you're going to be on the red carpet at the NAACP Awards in Pasadena, California. So I fly out to LA, you know, I'm out there, you know, I'm thinking I'm ready, you know, I'm cool. I have my little cards. I have a list of people that's going to be there. Miss Hughes is going to be there. Oprah's going to be there. Arsenio Hall. Russell Simmons. What's the girl's name from DC? That's big time actress.
Which one?
Taraji P. Henson is there. All these people are down there, right? So I'm all ready to go. My chest is all out. I'm looking good. I'm taking selfies, you know, all of this business. I get on the red carpet, and Oprah is standing right there.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Wow.
That's what it is.
The heart palpitation.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, what is that? I said, oh, I started feeling dizzy. I said, the room is spinning. I'm outside. I'm outside, y'all. The room is spinning. I'm like, what's going on? So I turned my my head to a space where that was open. I had walked over to, and I said a scripture, and I took 3 deep breaths.
Yeah.
I said 3 times, and I said I could do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me, and then boom. Hey, Oprah, how you doing?
There you go.
Good to see you. What are you here for? So the panic attack things are real, and I'm so glad that you described it, and I'm glad I had a chance because I didn't know what it was. And I think people experience this all the time, but they don't know that they're having a panic attack. Am I right about that?
That's absolutely. They don't realize what's happening.
Was that the only time you experienced that?
In other interviews, well, like I didn't have it when I interviewed Obama. Jay-Z was cool. Beyonce, no, it was only Oprah.
Whatever. I mean,
Well, you think about it like iconic, right? And then your mind says you have to be perfect. You have to get it right. You have to ask the right questions. What if she doesn't accept you? Your mind just has all these different questions that you're trying to process at one time. And when you slow down and did some grounding work, because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
And so you challenge those negative thoughts with the scripture, right? I can do all things because your mind was telling you that you can't. And that's why you started to panic. You say, oh my gosh, that's Oprah. I'm going to freeze. The moment is too big for me. When you recognize that you were selected on purpose. So the moment is never bigger than you. You just have to seize it.
So, Tara, have you ever had a panic attack?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I've shared my story. I've spilled my guts all over season 2 of Life in the District. How about yours?
I think I must say when I was invited to speak on global branding in Dubai, and the first year I went, because I'm an overthinker anyway, so you know how that is. So I was all over prepared, ready to go, and before it's time for me to go up, I was like, "There's no way!" Like all of these dignitaries are in the room from Dubai.
So it seemed like kind of similar to my story.
Yeah, it's like first time being on that kind of global stage for what for branding, and I just didn't want to mess up. And I'm like, it's sheikhs over here. It's all these people that they say are big people over there. And I just literally was in my seat, sweating bullets, trying to breathe, and just gather myself because of the fear. Yeah. Because of the as Bashea said, you want to be perfect. This is an opportunity. I want to be invited back. I don't want to. I'm the expert. They're looking at me like I'm the expert, and then got on stage. Kind of was shaky in the beginning, but then it mellowed off. And I just because one thing I had a mentor tell me years ago. She said, if you're nervous, it's because you're not prepared. And if you know what you're talking about, you have the information that you want to deliver, then there's no reason to be nervous because you have your knowledge and you're ready to deliver it. So when I got on the stage and after I, introduced myself, they kind of just fell off because then I was talking about what I know, what I'm an expert in, and I was able to deliver it. So it leveled off after that. I think it's just that fear of who is there and the stage that you're on. And for me, it's that I didn't want to mess up the opportunity.
Yeah.
They invited me back the next year.
Okay, all right.
So it went well, but it's that freezing that happens when you have the high expectation for yourself.
So she said to you, if you're nervous, it's because you're not prepared.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
To a certain extent.
Because I kind of like,
to a certain
because I'll be ready.
Yeah.
I'll be ready, but I still be nervous.
To a certain extent, because you want to be sure you're going to deliver that information, because if you're on that stage, it's because you're an expert. And I mean, I'm sure it's a bunch of experts out here that have nerves, that get nervous. But you have to I just had to gather myself and say, you know, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're learning from me. Why am I shook? You know, I know, so I'm good. I just have to deliver it. But I think it's the more self-inflicted and self-imposed restraints that we put on ourselves that cause us to panic.
Yeah.
Because nobody in the audience is scared of me.
Right.
But the other thing is too, not all anxiety is bad. You think about your being excited. That's part of anxiety. If you think about playing sports, like you get the butterflies in your stomach, you're trying to get hyped up before that, or a speech, like you're trying to hype it up. You put on your theme music, right? That's good anxiety.
Yeah.
So we really have to understand what type of anxiety is being present in front of us is impacting us.
That's true.
That's powerful, because the second year we went back, I had that more of an exciting, like I'm about to crush it.
Because you got all those jitters out the first year. So when you went back the next year, you're like, all right, I got this.
It's like, I'm about to crush it. Y'all about to learn something today. And I literally, it went smooth. And I was even more, could you tell the difference between the first year and the second? I was even more confident.
The confidence was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. Sometimes you just got to get it out of your system.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Did you have a story of panic attacks? Have you ever experienced any of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did music for a very long time. I was an artist. So I think I had a panic attack damn near every time I went on stage, no matter how many times I did it. So that's what I'm saying. So it was just like, I just always would just panic. It used to be to a point where I would have to take like 2 or 3 shots before I would get on stage, because I'm like, I'm so nervous. And
Shots? Wait a minute. Hold on. Shots?
Yeah, shots.
What kind of shots are we talking about? Penicillin shots?
Really, really
Are you
strong.
talking about alcohol?
Yeah, but now, I mean, I don't drink alcohol anymore. Now I'm fine. You know what I mean? But for the first couple of years, I was like, I can't do this. I'm so nervous. So
Just got to come down.
Right. Amazing. Okay. Awesome. So now, one of the things that I also wanted to cover with you, Bashea, is like I've learned a lot from you. You've taught me a lot as far as how to cope, how to deal, how to do the work. And a lot of times, a lot of folks, they'll say, like some of the guys that I work with, in my profession, they will experience these things, but they're not willing to do the work that it takes to overcome these challenges that they face. Do you see that a lot? And then how do you help individuals like that?
Yeah, a lot of times we're not given the space to do it, right? If we address what we're feeling as far as pain, we feel like we're weak, right? If we tell somebody that I'm struggling today, we feel like somebody's going to take advantage of that. We also feel like that we can't perform, we can't show up, we can't do our duties, we're less of a man anytime you show vulnerability. And I challenge that each time, because the more vulnerable you are, the more likely that you're able to get the help that you need. Right? We can't keep pretending like we are machines, right? Sometimes we got to slow down. We take breaks, but sometimes we don't even recognize that we're taking a break. We don't recognize, a lot of men are doing self-care without even realizing, right? And sometimes men wait until their body shuts down or something bad happens to say, I got to get right. But you've had messages along the way that says, I need to slow down here and take care of myself. And understanding the difference between being totally neglectful and being somewhat selfish, because somewhat selfish is healthy. That's part of self-care. And if I take care of myself first, then I can show up better for everybody else around me. Or if I take care of myself first, I can say, I don't need to take on that because this is time for me.
I just think that we live in a society where we're just conditioned to just be very ego-driven.
Yeah.
We're constantly ego. Ego comes with fear, doubts, negativity, and stuff like that. And, we're so used to just telling ourselves the negative things are easier to believe, right? It's like, nah, I can't do that. That's crazy. Like you said, we have these panic attacks and we're like, what am I doing? Am I going to look, are these people think I'm crazy? But I just think that we're so conditioned to thinking that, and it's okay to have those fears. There's nothing wrong with it, because ego is definitely needed, because that's the only way you're going to learn your lessons sometimes, right? But we have to also be able to dig into that heart space and follow our intuition, because our bodies and our intuition is always going to tell us what it is 100%. In the direction that we need to go in. A lot of times, like you said, we ignore those and we get into our ego and we're like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Nothing's wrong with me, I'm fine. And that's when you get into that space, finally, now you're hitting rock bottom. You're like, how did I get here?
Right.
So.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, Bashea, and I sent you some I slid in the DMs, y'all, before we get into the relationship stuff, is in, like one of the posts, it says, this was the headline. Why do black men struggle with asking for help? In your opinion?
It goes back to what we were just talking about, right? If I ask for help, that means I'm less than. But the truth is, we're in a position of learning. We're in a position of creating community, and we grow in community, right? I don't have to always figure everything out by myself. There's somebody who's better at this than me. And so that means that they can help me through this, or we can collaborate and they take care of that part because I have my own gifts. All right. If I say I need help with this, that means I want to improve. I might be able to circumvent or expedite getting to that level that I want to get to if I ask for help, right? That's my support system. We lock arms. We do that. Again, we do that in sports. We do that in all types of stuff where we say, you're my teammate, right? You get this side, I get that side. That's what help looks like.
Yeah.
And not being afraid to say, yo, I need a little bit of help because I'm struggling with this.
I think you're absolutely right. Some of the guys that I work with, that doesn't happen until they hit rock bottom.
Right, right. We wait too long.
Till they're ready to crash all the way out. It's just then, I mean, but the signs are there.
Yeah.
What are some of those signs? I'm just curious.
So the signs are saying you're struggling, right? If you're in this constant loop of you feel that it's failure, you're in this constant struggle and you can't really figure it out.
The world is against me.
The world is against me, right?
My back is up against the wall.
All of that. I am really struggling. I'm about to crash out. I'm about to give up, right? If I rely on
or I don't want to live. I don't want to live no more.
Yeah. And I get some men to really change that thought process. It's not that I don't want to live. I don't want to live like this. So let's separate what's happening to us with who we are.
Yeah.
And we can make different decisions. We can attack the problem as opposed to us feeling like we need to attack ourselves or the world is against us. The world may be against some of the things that we're doing. Let's change that, but not just leave this earth.
Yeah. So, one more piece, and then we'll talk relationships. Sherelle has a question. I also sent you a video in regards to meditation. Like, I got a whole meditation room now. I done turned my utility closet. I done asked Mr. Hidalgo come through. He hooked that joint up. I mean, I got the scripture on the wall. Peace be still. Got my candles over here. I got my Erykah Badu thing going on with the.
Yeah.
I put on my Andre 3000. I'm doing my breathing techniques.
The flute CD.
Exactly. all day. Yo, okay, true story. That's my centering music. Like if something big is coming up for me and I start feeling anxious, that's my go-to. I put that joint on, take some deep breaths, and then I'm back centered, and then I'm ready to go ahead and do whatever it is I need to do.
I go to sleep listening to healing frequencies every night. I do.
I'm on 732 right now.
Yes.
Wait a minute, stop right there. Hold on, side comments.
There's certain frequencies. Everything is energy and frequencies.
Yes.
And so there's certain frequencies that's attached to your body, like the heart space, like anxiety.
Yes.
And there's certain specific frequencies that you listen to that can trigger those things, whatever it is you're dealing with.
I heard about
pains.
that.
Yeah.
Helps calibrate your DNA.
Exactly. You can go to YouTube and just type in healing frequencies and everything.
So what frequency do you be on?
Well, you
96.3?
when I'm in the car. But at night, like they have like days of the week. Like you should start like 382 on Monday, then you go to 5 something on Tuesday, then 7 something on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's different frequencies that cause different things to happen in you while you're listening to it while you're asleep.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, when I put those frequencies on, because I was a heavy like meditation, Peloton meditation.
Yeah.
I would put that on every night. But ever since I switched to frequencies, I think I'm asleep within 10 minutes of my head hitting the pillow.
Really?
And you just get this different kind of sleep. And even if I wake up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, whatever, I come back, I go back.
Yeah.
It's just this restful,
It is.
peaceful.
Yes.
I wake up different. And I thought it was just a thing. You know how you
no.
see stuff online?
Yeah, no, it's
I
real.
tried and I live by it now.
So now, when you wake up, is the frequency still playing?
Oh, yeah.
Or does it go off?
No, it'll, they have some that go for 18 hours.
24 hours,
Yeah.
72
And
hours.
this is on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just plays throughout the whole night.
I'll put it on when I when we shut down. And
and there's because some people don't like light when they go to sleep, so you can also choose ones that say black screen. So like after 5 minutes when it comes on, the screen will go totally black, just in case you don't like light, because I don't like light. But when I go to sleep, I like a pitch black.
Yeah, so I just close my phone and it makes it dark and let it play.
Wow, so all these strategies are just, I mean, you're
so
hearing all this stuff.
And you can keep it playing. Like when I get up, start getting dressed, it's playing. Sometimes I'll listen to a prayer that just plays for 30 minutes while I'm getting ready for the day or whatever it is, brushing my teeth in the shower. It's just that prayer is going.
Yeah, it's so many different things. So I do Reiki anyway, so I deal with a lot of energy healing. Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
okay.
So those are the type of things that I like to engage in before my day starts and stuff like that. So.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to give that a try. I'm gonna have to.
You do.
I need. I need all the frequencies I can get. Yeah. I think I kind of do the same thing, but with music. I'll start off on the gospel tip. I'll graduate to some jazz. Yeah. Then I'm gonna put on some Afro beats.
Right.
Then I'm gonna put on some trap music when it's time to,
Absolutely.
Then it's Jay-Z. It's all the hard stuff. Then I'm got pre-gaming with Gunna, so I think I have frequencies that
Absolutely.
Well, music is frequencies too. This any music that you listen to. That's why they say you got to be careful.
Yeah, 100%.
That you put into your body.
Yeah.
Okay. So meditation. Are you a fan or not?
I am. So, and again, we meditate at different levels. A lot of times we think we can go in and sit there for 30 minutes to an hour, like we've seen people on TV or we hear people talk about it. Gradually move up to it and figure out what your meditation is. And sometimes meditation is the music in the background or the sound in the background and you really releasing your thoughts on paper. We have so many different thoughts that want attention at one time. We can't always sit there and pretend like all those things aren't gone, right? So give yourself an opportunity to journal. You can meditate however what works for you.
Yeah.
Right? Go to a private space and designate that space for meditation.
Right, that's what I got.
Yeah.
So I know you guys give a lot of relationship advice. How do you what would you advise couples to get relationship advice, set the goals for a relationship?
First, you want to look at what has worked and what hasn't worked.
Okay.
And I think you can start there and you can be intentional about what you want your relationship to look like in a year from now. Okay. What goals are you going to work through? What things can you remove and what things can you add in? Like being intentional, being considerate, right? How do you handle conflict? If conflict was a huge thing in your previous year or your current state, what can we do differently to really resolve or repair?
Right.
And I think that's where you can start.
What initially drew you two to each other?
Introduced?
What initially drew you two to each other?
Oh, I was looking for a brand manager back in 2019, and then we were on a relationship panel, and she said she was a brand manager. She said something on the panel. I'll let her share it, and that kind of stood out, and I eventually hired her.
Okay. What did I say?
Don't be thirsty.
They were asking. They were talking at the time. The moderator.
Yeah, give us your side of the story, because obviously.
What I said. No, the moderator was talking about like the thirsty generation, like how people are online, they're thirst trapping or whatever. And I said it's okay to be thirsty, just don't be parched.
There you go.
Because I think a lot of times when you're thirsty, you can decide what you want to drink. Do I want to, drink water? Do I want to drink iced tea? But when you're out here parched, you just dry. You're gonna guzzle down anything.
Yeah.
And I think in relationships it's the same way. You're thirsty. You may settle for somebody treating you as a part-time person, or you allow a lot of things to slide because you are so thirsty for love. And I mean, I'm so parched for love. But when you can make a decision and say, hey, you know what? I'm not cool with what you did. I don't deserve that. I'm not settling for that.
Yeah.
And so you get to make a choice. So that's kind of like what.
Yeah, so and after that, she was just sweating me from that.
Shut up.
I was trying to keep the boundaries. Like I paid for you. I'm paying you. Yes, you did. She slid in my DMs.
You work for me.
She slid in my professional DMs, my LinkedIn.
I'm gonna let him finish.
That's the truth.
So how do you feel like how has your relationship helped you guys grow as individuals?
You want me to start? I think for me, I was kind of like done with love. I was like, I'm done. I'm good. I'm not for the streets. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then when we met and our relationship, I think started off, business. and then it was like friendship.
Yeah.
And so we got to know each other differently because there was not this expectation of
Yeah.
anything, and we didn't lay out expectations. And I think what I learned was, even though I was single, you know, I was like, I'm healed. You know, I went through
Yeah.
all of this. When you get in a relationship, some of those things have just been lying dormant. Now he awakens those things in me
There you go,
that
yeah.
I have not dealt with.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of go back and say, you know what, there's some things that I do need to work on.
Yeah.
And some things that I do deserve,
Yeah.
because, you know, it was a challenge for him because he's such a giving and loving person. I couldn't even receive a compliment from him because of how I felt.
Yeah.
You know, and that wasn't on him.
Yeah.
That was on me. But it also made him feel like I was rejecting him. But, you know, just him being able to understand, hey, I'm not used to healthy. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So you gotta give me a minute. You know, I'm not rejecting you. Just give me a minute to
Yeah.
get my bearings together, because I do deserve to be loved the right way.
Yeah.
And just, you know, coming off of being that in that single mindset for so long.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like he's coming like roaring rapids. And you're like, wait a minute. And then you start to question, is this real? How long is this gonna last?
Yeah.
Because the last time, and you know, so, but he gave me my space to be in my in that mess, so to speak.
Yeah.
To now that I have this consciousness for it, and like, you know,
And you're not so much in that fight or flight energy anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you said, you do deserve to be loved the right
Yeah.
way. And they said that, you know, God will send the right people into your life, because a lot of times we don't realize it.
yeah.
So they're going to send the right people into your life. So like you said, it'll awaken you like, hold up, I didn't even know
Yeah.
that this was even the thing.
And it challenges you to improve.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you look at your partner and like, hey, you know what? It's areas you can improve too. How can I help you do
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Because I want you to be the best you can be.
Yeah.
So we can be the best for each other and our families. So you know, you do get into that place of, I want to heal, but I want to help you
Yeah.
heal
Yeah.
too.
So she mentioned that she had to do her own personal work to prepare herself to be in this amazing relationship and marriage that you have. What work did you do? Just curious.
It's a lot of, it's funny we talk about God is preparing you. A lot of things that we have challenges with or we go through is stuff that God downloaded onto me a long time ago. Like if you look at my book, my Dear Future Wife book, and you look at my Dear Future Wife since 2000, a lot of stuff that I wrote about that said I need to work on was preparing me for this. Literally letters that I used to write that are on the internet are talking about our experiences. Right, different things different trainings that I went to. It's like, why am I taking this training? Oh, because it's free. But now I need to know how to apply that in the marriage,
Yeah.
in the relationship. So it was consistently preparing me for what it is. So being able to actually apply these things, that's where the growth is. And not just always trying to be the expert in every situation, and knowing that I need to practice some humility and really practice some understanding, right? And understanding what it looks like. She's actually experiencing something different in life, and I have. And so we get together, and how can we combine those two things? So that was my growth patterns.
Wonderful.
And we
Working
still
together.
grow. We still grow. I mean, we may get on each other. I probably don't get on his nerve, but.
So the work doesn't stop.
Oh,
No, it's a
absolutely not.
continuous
100%.
process of the work, right?
Oh,
Right,
100%.
right. So Gottman, like I studied Gottman. So Gottman talks about 5-to-1 ratio. So for every negative thing, there needs to be 5 compliments in order for your relationship to survive. As you mentioned earlier, we often talk about the negative things. We're attracted to the negative things, and they tend to overrun us, and we overthink it, and we talk about all the different negative things in our relationships. But if you had 5 compliments for every negative thing, your relationship has a better chance to survive.
Wow.
Simple things.
So you do that? I mean, you give her 5 compliments?
Yeah, throughout the day, throughout the week.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
What does that look mean? What does that look mean?
This is, so one of the things I talked about is being an ally, right? This is one of the growth areas.
I have to joke with my husband. I mean, and it's things that we have to be consistent with and work on, because like it's vice versa. Like, no, but I will say that my husband he's big on repair. So and before I met him, I didn't even know that was like, we argue, I'm gonna be over here, I'll holler at you later, you know. But he's like, okay, it's time to repair. So he comes back around, and he's supportive in things. Like I'm totally joking with him right now. But like, I will say this, and this is for anyone watching this dating or anything. when Bashea wanted to get exclusive, his next question to me was like, okay, well, would you like to go to therapy? So we've been going to therapy since we were dating. So, and I think it's key, and a lot of people and this is if you're serious about someone, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying go on 2 dates and be like, let's hit therapy. It's just if you're serious about someone. And no man had ever asked me that before. So to be in therapy and really start having this awakening about a lot of things and then how we operate, we took these like 200 question assessment and we landed in the same box at the end of the results, which is a rarity. Like, so to be able to get to know your partner, someone who you're considering seriously being with, was huge. And I never had that before.
Right.
And so to be able to know the areas from that point on, hey, we may need to work on this down the line. Yeah. Really, I feel like gave us like a cheat code to really kind of like, hey, this is the road. Here's a roadmap. Here's how we can heal, and here's some things that maybe present as a problem later. So, you know, he's big on that. And I'm going to say it's a plus. He's a therapist. I'm not going to lie. He always says, I'm not going to be a therapist in our marriage. And, you know, sometimes you are, babe. But
why you have to go to the court? Because literally we just talked about 5-to-1 ratio compliments versus discouragement, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that she said that she couldn't accept compliments.
Yeah.
So I'm applying the rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
100%.
it's not working.
Yeah.
So that's what I
Before
mean.
we wrap up, I'm
100%.
just curious. Like, give us an example of some of the compliments. I'm just curious.
I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
I'm just curious. I mean,
Go ahead.
so I can know what I'm doing.
Go
So I
ahead,
can
go
make
ahead,
sure,
Suge.
so I can make sure I'm
because
doing
you said
it
I'm
right.
giving them to you, right? So let
That's a nice jacket. Ooh, I like your shoes today.
No, like it would be from anything just like professional, like, because he knows that I'm a perfectionist and that I work really hard on different things. And he was like, babe, you're enough already. You know, you got this. He's very supportive in that regard, especially
that's a compliment.
if I'm down to myself.
That's one compliment.
That. And if he would tell me, oh, you look beautiful, I'd be like,
Okay, that's two.
I would blow it off, like totally blow it off. And he's like, wait, man, I'm over here telling you, and this is how I honestly feel. Why are you blowing it off? Yeah. So, and
little
it was,
acknowledgement, like,
Yeah.
I like the way you clean this, or I like the fact that you wash the, those
Okay,
things.
that's three.
You're paying
Okay.
attention.
Yeah.
You're paying attention
That's
to your
three.
partner
yeah.
and what they're doing. You're
Yeah.
not just expecting them to do stuff.
Exactly.
You're acknowledging their work and their effort and everything that you're pouring into the relationship.
100%. He'll thank me for a lot of the things that I do, just anything.
Do you
Like,
compliment him?
I think I do. I compliment you, babe.
Not really.
See, he
Middle one way
You know what?
Betty Crocker.
And I be telling ladies this all the time. Men need compliments too.
Yeah.
They need to hear it too.
Thank you.
Men need to hear it
I
too.
just
Thank
complimented you this morning in the car.
What'd you say?
You don't remember? When I was telling you I was proud of you for all you have done in Hearts and Minds and with everything.
You
Yeah.
forgot that whole speech?
Oh.
See how they do, y'all?
Did you blow
See how
that
they
off?
do?
See,
I'm going
did
to
he
start
blow-
recording stuff. He blew that off. He blew that off.
Well, we gonna work on that.
Yeah.
Bashea, Tara, thanks for coming through. Appreciate it.
My
Absolutely.
pleasure.
All right,
you.
website. Give everybody your website if they want to know.
So we got a couple of websites. We got BasheaWilliams.com. You can find everything about me. HeartsandMindCounseling.com. That's everything about my practice. If you're seeking therapy, we have the Hearts and Mind Alignment Foundation.com. That's our nonprofit. TaraGatesWilliams.com, where she has all of her stuff. WhenLoveAligns.com. We have the stuff for couples. You can find us individually, Bashea Williams and Tara Gates Williams on IG, TikTok, all over social media.
Yeah.
And we will include all those links in the description.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, that's another edition of Live from the District. Want to thank our guests. Want to thank our co-host, Sherelle Rowe. We'll see you next time. Want to remind you, shout out to our good friends from Smoke and Mirrors at AC Hotel, Washington, D.C. Live from the District. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Live from the district. Live from the district. Live from the district.